Hello and welcome to another episode of Sports and Songs podcast. We're on season 6. Andy, tonight's episode 10. It's a songs edition, Andy. How are you? It's January 16th. It's January 16th.
Yes.
We're going to do an album review. We're going to do an album review tonight. And Andy, here's what I got. We're going to do Alice in Chains. We've done a couple of these before. I'll start off here with I'll bring up the image. I'm going to do a little dirt tonight. I'll get rid of this banner here. And let's kick things right off. I know Andy's got some things for after the show. Concert news, updates, some good bullet points, I think. Alice in Chains, Dirt, second studio album by American rock band Alice in Chains, released in 1992. Most all the music from the album is written by Jerry Cantrell, the guitarist. But for the first time, Lane Staley had a couple songs that he wrote. And, he does all the singing, but mainly Alice in Chains is a Jerry Cantrell outfit with Lane Staley just being on the front man. But this album, they said, hey, write a couple songs, we'll see how it goes. And it worked. This album was voted by Kerrang! Magazine as the Critics' Choice Album of the Year. Guitar World named Dirt as the best guitar album of 1992. Loudwire named it as the best metal album of one of the best of the 1990s, the entire decade. And the Rolling Stone ranked it number 26 on its list of 100 greatest metal albums of all time. It's also listed as number 6 in the top 50 grunge albums. So one thing to start off with, Alice in Chains, you think grunge, you think the Seattle scene, but this is metal. It's basically metal. Can you hear me?
Yeah, they get thrown under grunge. Yep, I'm here. Hello.
Okay. Yep.
They're thrown under grunge just because they're from Seattle. I think it's kind of a default thing.
I think so.
Rightly so or wrongly so, depending who you talk to. To me, grunge and heavy metal, it was just because there was heavy metal and hair bands, but they're all kind of hard rock. Those real things. Grunge is like the stepchild to that group, to that little family of music. It's a little of both.
That subgenre, because Nirvana made it big, and that was 94, right? In utero, or
they made it big mostly because of the whole flannel and the clothes. They were kind of the grunge scene was kind of the if you took AC/DC and REM had a child, it was grunge.
Okay.
It was the AC/DC sound with the REM look, my opinion.
Yes.
Yes. So not saying the music was good or bad, just saying that's kind of how you combine them.
And this was
that genre of music and that genre of music combined had grunge. Grunge was good. Grunge was mostly Seattle to start with, so it kind of got that. Kind of when hip hop music came out, it was West Coast, East Coast,
Yeah, this was considered alternative metal or alternative.
That's a better title for
alternative metal, heavy metal, hard rock, and grunge. And I think grunge didn't really come out till 94, 95, really, but this was 92, so it wasn't really there yet. So this was really metal, but yet with a different kind of a feel to it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here what I've got. Dirt was recorded. Now, Andy, you'll like this. Dirt, this album was recorded in L.A. during the L.A. riots that erupted following the acquittal of 4 LAPD officers caught on camera beating an unarmed black motorist named Rodney King.
Oh, wow.
So
I thought that was earlier.
Yeah, so the Rodney King event happened. They had the court trial for the 4 LAPD officers that were literally caught on camera beating the unarmed man. They go to trial and it comes out, no, not guilty. They are acquitted. These riots break out. This was the very first day that recording in the studio was scheduled for Alice in Chains. Now, Alice in Chains, once again, known for Seattle, in the Seattle scene. They did their recording in LA. So they were there to do this. The band was watching TV when the verdict for the incident was announced. Jerry Cantrell was in a store buying some beer when a man came in and started looting the place. Do I need to repeat this? Cantrell was buying beer. Guy came in looting. He didn't know what was going on. Things were out of control. And Cantrell also got stuck in traffic and saw people pulling each out of their cars and beating them. This was nuts. The band tried to get out of town without getting hurt while the LA protesting was going on against the police brutality. And they took Slayer vocalist Tom Araya with them. And they said, hey, let's go to the Joshua Tree Desert for 4 or 5 days until things calm down. Now, did you know this, Andy?
No, I did not.
I didn't either, but good for a chuckle. They said, look, everything's sideways here. Let's get out because we don't know what's going back. So 4 or 5 days later, they moved back into the studio and they started recording the album. So when recording the album, Lane Staley previously checked out of rehab and then quickly went back to using heroin. So he was in and out. That's the lead singer, Staley. Now, Staley was not the only one going through heavy drug use. Drummer Sean Kinney and bassist Mike Starr was struggling with alcohol addiction. So very odd things going on with this band here. Now, I don't mention Jerry Cantrell here with drug or alcohol use, but he was obviously partying at the time too. He was getting beer the day the riots broke out. Now, you may wonder what the music sounds like, Andy. You had said at the beginning of the show that it's kind of a mix or a blend. Now, the producer got the album's famous guitar tone by blending 3 different amps: a Bogner Fish preamp for the low end, a Bogner Ecstasy for the mid frequencies, and a Rockman headphone amp for the high frequencies. And what he did is put all that together. And that's where you get that Jerry Cantrell lead guitar work. And I didn't know that either until, doing the research for this. But he came over. That's a real pioneer right there, a trailblazer. Yeah. I'm going to put those together and let's see what it comes out like. Very interesting. Lane Staley said at first that the album was kind of a semi-conceptual album, and I didn't know that either. He said it was, not a concept, but kind of a semi-concept album. But there's 2 basic themes in this album. The first theme is about dealing with kind of personal anguish and turmoil, which turns into drug use to ease the pain, and then going to think that, hey, now I'm confident because that's the answer in a way. And then later on, the songs, they start to slip down closer and closer to hell. And then you figure out the user figures out that drugs are not and were not the answer to ease the pain. And basically, this album is the whole story of the last 3 years of my life, Lane Staley says. Last 3 years of his life. It's really a whole album about painful relationships involved with different people. Wild stuff. Now, Jerry Cantrell said in an interview in 2013 that the darkness was always part of the band, but it wasn't all about that. There was always an optimism. Even in the darkest shit we wrote, he said, with Dirt, it's not like we're going to come out and say, oh yeah, this is a good thing. It was more of a warning than anything else. Rather than, hey, come and check this out. It's great. He says, we're talking about what was going on at the time, but there's always a survivor element, kind of a triumph over the darker elements of being a human being. I still think we all have some of that intact, but maybe the percentage has shifted. So interesting stuff, but it is kind of like that. It's kind of a warning of what not to do by listening to this album, the things not to do because they do not work. All right, here's the track listing. Track listing here, Andy. First song, Them Bones. Them Bones. Them Bones. Jerry Cantrell wrote about this. It really deals with the lyrics about mortality. Recently, in the years leading up to this, he had several family members die in his family, and he kind of really felt close to home as, are we all just going to end up a pile of them bones there? That's where that came through. Damn That River is next. Lyrics took place by Jerry Cantrell after a fight with Sean Kinney, the drummer. They kind of fight with the drummer. Sean Kinney breaks a glass coffee table over his head. And Jerry says, hey, I'm going to write a song about that. Next song is Rain When I Die. Rain When I Die is written to 2 girls. It was Cantrell's girlfriend at the time and Lane Staley's girlfriend at the time, basically saying, I got a feeling it's going to rain when I die. Song 4 is Down in a Hole. Song 5 is Sick Man. Sick Man's about heroin. Song Rooster. Rooster is about Jerry Cantrell's father, a Vietnam vet story and lyrics then. Song 7 is Junkhead, also heroin. The song Dirt, another one, heroin. Song 9, Godsmack, heroin. So the middle of these is kind of the concept album. They all talk about the evils of using heroin. All of those songs. Godsmack became so popular with the band Out East, they named the band Godsmack. That was the actual Sully Erna band. Song 10 is an intro or a dream sequence called Iron Gland. Now, this is where Tom Araya from Slayer steps in. He does the vocals here. It's 43 seconds long. It's basically a Black Sabbath sound of guitar in the background for I Am Iron Man. And Tom Araya sings I Am Iron Gland. Don't feel it really needed to be in there at all. There's already enough songs. Song 11 is Hate to Feel. This is a Lane Staley song, one of those that he wrote. Here you get more of the emotion, the energy, the anger coming out. That's Staley. You don't really see that with Cantrell. You get the emotion with Cantrell, but Lane Staley is the anger. Next song is Angry Chair. And last song is Wood with a question mark. That's a Jerry Cantrell song written about the death of Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone and Malfunction. He died trying out. It was an actual recreational heroin user, not an addict. Went too far once and couldn't find his way back home. Listen to those lyrics back then when he went too far and he made a mistake. If you could do it, could someone else? And so another message there. Watch how you do your drugs. It doesn't take much to go off the deep end a little too far where you're not coming back. So that's an ode to Mr. Andrew Wood. So here's the personnel. Lane Staley does the lead vocals. Jerry Cantrell, guitars. Mike Starr, bass. Sean Kinney, drums. Now here's the singles. So what we've got here, Andy, is 13 songs. Too many for my liking. 13 songs. One's an intro. So there's 12.
12 songs, yeah.
12 songs overall. They could have done it with 10, but I think when you go back and look at it, which songs, when you listen to this, are you going to cut? You're not. They're all very good. Here's the singles released from the album. The album came out September of 1992, but in June of 92, they released the song Wood because that was on that singles soundtrack, Andy. Okay. So in 1992, the singles soundtrack, that whole Seattle scene had a movie about it that also gained popularity, and that was released in June. That movie came out, so that was one of the lead songs in that, so they released that early. Then they came out in September and released Them Bones and Angry Chair, which is that Lane Staley, first time he ever had a song that he wrote released as a single. That was December of 92. Rooster, March of 93, and Down in a Hole, August of 93. So it's a 57-minute album, a little too long for my liking, but once again, the emotions kick in. Now, here's the album cover. If you see the album there on your screen, it is Mariah O'Brien as the model there in the dirt and or the mud. It's whatever you want to think of. They said they did it. It doesn't show her being dead. It also one could assume that she's either alive or dead. It's not. It leaves it open. It leaves however you want to interpret that. So that's her on the front. Right. Let's see. The album went 5 times platinum in the U.S. Huge, a lot of good stuff. These all went. A lot of these are top. The singles all went basically top 30 as well. Dirt, the album was included in the 2005 book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. And in 93 Grammy Awards, Dirt received a nomination for Hard Rock Performance. And so that film's singles in '92 was Cameron Crowe. That's a Cameron Crowe film
Yeah,
that
that's
he
right.
did. That's what really, I think that movie also pushed that whole grunge Seattle scene to the next level,
Yeah, yeah.
simply because of that movie. And I didn't know that when I first got into this whole Seattle stuff, but that really, I think, had a huge impact. In 2008, Dirt was ranked as the fifth best album released in the previous 2 decades by a magazine called Close Up. So in 2008, so that's what, 90s and 2000s, that's the top five, fifth best.
Yeah.
Boy, that's in 20 years. Now I know a
Wow.
lot of stuff new wasn't coming out during those years, but that is
Yeah, but
that's a,
still,
that's
wow.
a
That's,
lot to take in. That's a lot to take in. Calling it number five.
let's say top five in a certain music genre or of all albums.
I think probably in a certain music genre, but over a 20-year period though.
Okay.
So that's
Then
some
the
wild.
late '90s, though. Late
Wasn't
'90s
much in the
country music
90s,
was real popular.
2000s. So it must have been metal, hard rock, whatever. But for that 20-year period,
Yeah.
they said it was the fifth best of all the albums in that genre. So amazing nonetheless. It has become one of my all-time favorites as well. But it is some good stuff. But the more you listen to it, it is more metal than it actually is grunge. But there's some sludgy stuff in there as well. Lane Staley's biggest fear of all time was becoming an addict. And so I think his father was, and that was the one thing he steered away from. Didn't happen. Died in a Seattle apartment, and the rest is history. The rest of those guys, I think, all died as well. Mike Starr, who's the other one?
Control.
I don't think there's any of them even left. I mean, Mike Inez came in, and
Control is the last one, right?
let's see, I got it right here. Mike Starr. So Starr's also dead. Sean Kinney. I don't know about Sean Kinney, the drummer.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I don't know if he's dead.
I'm not familiar with that band or the
Hopefully we'll
genre.
have people write in. Yeah, hopefully I have some people leaving some comments here. The scene, that whole Alice in Chains Dirt scene is big in the tribute bands here in the Twin Cities.
Yep.
A lot of bands cover that. They're hard songs to do. They're hard to sing, but there's a couple groups that do those very well. That's all I've got for today.
All right, here we go. As you know, we are here to educate.
Yes.
That's what we do. Congratulations, Sunflower Fox and the Chicken Leg.
Yes.
According to 101.7 up in St. Cloud. Artist of the Year. Friends of the show.
Yes. Congrats to Katie and the group.
Katie and Mike and the whole gang there. Congrats. But we all really knew it was after they were on the show, it really kind of skyrocketed after that.
Obviously, yes, it must be.
You're welcome, guys, by the way.
These guys are good. Give them a listen. Give them a listen on they're on Spotify and a YouTube channel. Very good stuff.
Their new song, the new cover's out really good. Yep.
Mississippi Queen.
Yep. Okay, this one kind of interests me. It's on this be at Cedar Avenue, Minneapolis. Revo, a tribute to Devo. Snotty Rotten, the Sex Pistols, and Cracked Actor, a David Bowie tribute. This one could be interesting.
Wow.
March 1, Saturday. This could be, this could be kind of something. You'd want, the people watching would be pretty interesting there too.
Snotty Rottens, that would be awesome to see. The David Bowie and Revo, the tribute to Devo. Love it.
Yes. That should be fun. Eliminator, ZZ Top tribute at Medina at the end of February there. That should be pretty good.
Love it. Look at the beards.
That's what you noticed was the beards?
Yes, I noticed for some reason. Yeah. For some reason. That's great.
Hairball here they are this week. They're going to be up in the Fargo area there on January 25th. It's going to be at the arena up in TR, as us from up northern Minnesota can call it TR.
Nice.
Thief River Falls. Us locals up there call it that. You know, so they got a Guns N' Roses character now too, so they do some Guns N' Roses songs. So
okay.
But if you hear two Guns N' Roses songs, go see Hairball. You want to hear them all? Go see our friends Dustin Bones. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
The Gin Blossoms with Strange Days, March 15th, down at the island, Treasure Island Casino. If Gin Blossoms are your thing, or Strange Days for that matter. Some of those guys in Strange Days, seen them. They're members or friends of the show. This interested me a lot here. Jeff Pilson says he and George Lynch would love to do one more Dokken album with Don Dokken. I noticed he didn't mention Mick Brown's name in there at all, but Pilson's been doing okay. He's been on tour with I want to say Foreigner. He's been filming with them. George Lynch, of course, is doing his thing. Don Dokken's doing his thing. So I don't know if it's a one more last hurrah they want to do it, or if they all think they can suck it up and deal with each other for one more album. I don't know. I'm a big Dokken guy. I like Dokken.
Yeah, and these guys are all in the scene. They're all active.
They're all still doing stuff in other bands.
So maybe timing.
I love Dokken, but I don't think they're big enough where if they did a reunion album, a lot of people would really go, "Oh my God, a new Dokken album!" You know, it's not gonna. It'll sell. Don't get me wrong, but it's not gonna be like number one that first week. Oh my God, Dokken, we've all been dying for this. No, it'd be cool to have, but I'll live a good life without it too. You know.
But would they be on the casino circuit? It wouldn't be at
if they went and toured. Yeah, I don't think they could do any more of the casino. I really don't. I mean, George Lynch's band was here, and they were just at Medina. Now, Jeff Pilson, he was the bass player for Foreigner. You were in Foreigner, though. They weren't coming to see you, Jeff, on bass. Sorry. They were, you know. Sorry, Jeff. Reality hurts.
Well, this would be good to see nonetheless, regardless of what arena they're in.
If they put one more together, you know, I'm a Dokken guy, so Dave's the man to get it.
Love it.
Got some homework here for you.
Okay, I'll jot this down.
You got to go see this movie to catch this part. In 1985, per URock's Facebook page, Pee-wee's Big Adventure Twisted Sister made a cameo appearance. The cameo came about frontman Pee-wee or Dee Snider and comedian Paul Reubens, who plays Pee-wee Herman. They met at an MTV New Year's Eve party. Twisted Sister was in California, opening for Iron Maiden. Reubens called Snider, asked the band if they'd do a scene in Pee-wee's movie by Santa Claus and Godzilla through the Twisted Sister video shots. Dee knew Reubens was a fan of the band's music, so Snider wanted to know what song he wanted them to use. Of course, Burn in Hell was the song they used. So go back, watch Pee-wee, The Big Adventure, and look for the Twisted Sister cameo.
You know, I may have to go back and do that.
That's your homework assignment. Now that football playoffs are basically over, if you're a Viking fan, you're just going through the motions now. Basketball really hasn't really kicked off too much yet for college. It's starting to get going here, but now Sunday afternoon, squeeze us in.
Does the homework assignment count if I just go to just YouTube and say, look, I just want to see that clip, see it, check it off? Does that count?
That's like reading the Cliff Notes on a book assignment, so it's up to you.
Yeah,
true. If you pass the test, I don't care how you
good to see Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I don't care as long as you pass the test. You want to read the Cliff Notes, go to YouTube.
Dee Snider.
You want to get
on the hood of that convertible. Love it.
Yeah. Here's your soapbox.
Okay.
Haven't had one of these in a while. Okay, Sammy Hagar on David Lee Roth. He refuses to acknowledge that Hagar era Van Halen was more successful than his era. Okay. We've said it before. I'll say it again. I like both versions of Van Halen.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, they're two different bands because the lead singers were so different. Van Halen with David Lee Roth was popular through backyard concerts when they started, word of mouth, concert scenes, radio play. That's how they were popular.
And MTV.
Hagar Van Halen was popular because of MTV. Two different audiences, two different musics, two different stuff. The lead singers changed the bands. I'm sorry. They're both good bands. Don't get me wrong. They're not the same thing. You know, it's like we have here in Minnesota. Who's got the best Juicy Lucy? They're made differently at each bar. You know, they're both good burgers, but they're different at each bar. Two good bands, they're different. Don't compare the two. That's why when you have the tribute bands for it, they have two different lead singers to do. One does Dave, one does Sammy.
Yeah. I like that. That's fair enough.
You know, so that's my soapbox. We've got to get over this. Let's grow up now. I mean, they're both in their mid-70s. Sammy Hagar is the same age as Bill Clinton. Just remember that when you see Sammy Hagar out there. And Dave is, well, Dave's Dave. Dave's just, I don't know. I love him. God bless him. I'll be sad when he goes, but, you know, you got to take everything he says kind of tongue-in-cheek, too.
Now, there's one debate that could be answered right now. You could answer if you go back to one debate, and who's the better front man for the rock band? Yes, Sammy Hagar's not a front man. He's a good vocalist, guitarist. Yep. David Lee Roth was the epitome of a big arena concert front man, like a Paul Stanley.
Well, Paul Stanley, Freddie Mercury, they're all in that same category. Mount Rushmore frontmen, we'll have to do that at some show.
Oh, yes.
Mount Rushmore frontmen from the 80s. Sad news here. Sam Moore of the Sam and Dave group passed away. You know, I like the older music. Just go back. Extra credit on your homework. If you're going to take the shortcut and watch the YouTube version of Twisted Sister, get that extra credit, go back to some Sam and Dave. And appreciate Sam Moore and the great voice he had. And birthdays, we have one birthday, Dan, for tomorrow.
Okay.
A fan, someone very near and dear to my heart, and a lot of hearts of men our age. Susanna Hoff's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Knows I blocked out the year because we don't talk age about women on the show.
No.
Weight and age, we don't mention that. So I blocked out the year. It is her birthday on the 17th.
You blocked it out. It's been censored. I like it.
Yep, that's what we do. That's what censoring we do is women's ages and weights. Okay. Except on the sports shows for the wrestling where it is a weight category, you're asking for it then. Sorry.
Well, happy birthday there.
Susanna Hobbs of the Bengals, of course. Big popular MTV. They did Manic Monday, which was written by Prince. Walk Like an Egyptian. They covered Simon & Garfunkel's Easy Shade of Winter. In Your Room, Eternal Flame, which I heard today just kind of melts my heart.
Wow.
Every time she says the word dreaming in that song, I just get emotional.
Correct.
She's still doing some stuff today. You can catch her on her social media channels. She's still Susanna Hoffs.
Yeah, very easy on the eyes.
Yes. And there's a picture, of course, her and her eyes. She had some great eyes. That's what I got, man.
Well, like I said before, use the comment section below if you've got any information on upcoming concerts or shows that we missed, or album review, little Alice in Chains dirt, if you have any comments on that, or anything else you can think of. Also, be sure to watch our Monday weekly sports show that we do.
And coming up in February, remember last year we did a special. We did the Johnny Cash album series. This February, Sports and Songs goes country.
Ooh.
I've picked out 4 of my favorite artists from the 80s. Not the 4 best, not the 4 greatest. 4 of my favorite. Yep. So let's be clear on that first of all.
Subjective.
Don't come back afterwards with, this guy was better.
We don't want to hate him.
And I kind of went a little under the radar on some too. I could have gone Alabama. I could have gone a lot of the big names. Boom. I kind of did, but I kind of didn't. I kind of went that.
Kind of deep, a little deeper.
Yeah, I could have gone George Strait. I could have gone Alabama, but we all heard a bunch of stuff about them. Little quick peek on each 4. And we've recorded the 4. In what order we put them out in yet, I don't know. That's up to Oswald and production, how he wants to drop those. So it all depends. Doing the Judds. Doing a little Sawyer Brown. Keith Whitley. And who was my other guy? I went just blank on it.
It was, I don't know.
See, that's what I mean.
But we'll do 4 episodes on Thursdays in the month of February. Sports and Songs goes country.
Yes. Eddie Rabbitt. That's who it was. Eddie Rabbitt. Yes.
Eddie Rabbitt.
That's what I mean. Kind of went that next tier. Big names, but next tier.
Love a Rainy Night.
It's one of my favorites. But watch for those in February. The 4th Thursday
next time, everyone. Awesome. See ya.
Bye.